Hi, everybody. Welcome to Tea Time with Amy and Bev. What's up, girl?
Not much. It's beautiful out today.
It is beautiful.
Yeah.
I've been seeing people making changes in life lately, and one of the things I frequently will put on this on social media in the comments is, uh, you're entering a new chapter in your life, and remember you're the author, so make it amazing. And looking forward to hearing about it, type of thing. So I'll put different versions of that in the comments. And it's it's interesting because lately a job offer came up to me, and I told him no. I said, I'm actually really pleased with where I'm at right now with my life and my job and all the things. And but I thought about another person, and this other person um, has some qualifications to do this job. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she'd probably be great at it. So we connected on the phone, and they're in the process of starting a business for her husband. And she's like, I don't know. I don't know if I can handle this and that, and starting a new job and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, I know you have these qualifications, and I thought of you, and maybe just give this lady a call and just get more information before you say no. Okay, I will. It's like, okay, my job is done, right? I
Yeah.
handed it over. My hands are done. I'm out. I'm not going to ask her. I'm not following up with her. This is not my deal. I was the resource, the link, the bridge. I did my part. And if I think about somebody else, I'm going to let them know too. It's not just exclusive to this one person. So anyway, I got off the phone and I was thinking, man, how many times did I do that? How many times were doors open for me and I totally resisted it and totally like, I don't have time. I can't handle this. There's too much going on. When the universe was answering my prayers, open the doors, and I would not. Well, I cannot tell you how many times that has happened. And then later I kicked myself in the butt for not doing it. And I just kind of thought that about her as we're having this conversation on the phone. And in my head, I was like, wow, I remember those days. I remember doing that. And sometimes, sure, there's been times recently I've done it. Um, and and it's interesting when we're asking for something new, different, fresh, get it, get me out of this space I'm in, type of thing. And the door opens and we stay where we're at. I'm like, ooh. So there's been different things coming up lately, and it's one of those kicking me in the ass type of thing and really pulling at getting my attention. And I'm like, okay, I got to do something. I got to do something because my soul, my spirit is stirring, that
Uh,
even though I'm comfortable with where I'm at, that's the issue. I'm comfortable with where I'm at, and I'm not pursuing what really lights me up. And I was like, so it showed
you're
up through
thinking,
this. Yeah, it showed up through this conversation with this lady just the other day, like what, 2 days ago, 3 days ago. And then a free training was available, and I listened to that, and it's just those deep breath moments. You're like, okay, okay, I know, I hear you. But the universe just saying, listen, this is what lights you up. This is what you're passionate about. This is your time. This is your opportunity. There's no better time. I could have started 5 years ago, 10 years ago. But it's been like, I've just been dragging my feet, and being in a comfort zone. And my mentor says, if you're in a comfort zone, it's time to stir it up. It's time to get out of it, because you need to do something different if you're comfortable. And I was like, I could just hear her right now as I just said that. And I'm like,
yeah.
rolling my eyes. I'm like, fine, whatever.
But you said it well, just because you really did, talking about all this stuff and how we feel that stirring with inside self. And it's like this, we can label it, don't get caught up in the labels, but we can label it so easily, like anxiety, uh, feeling like you got to go do something. Like there's all these feelings that come on. And I do feel like it is the universe's way, gently trying to push us forward, and we don't listen, right? So, and then little things come after that. But I think we're getting better at listening and hearing all that stuff. But it does feel uncomfortable because it's trying to push us into another space, which doesn't always feel good. But it's like if when we can see the light at the end of the tunnel, then we look back and we're like, oh, this wasn't so bad. But sometimes we just don't know when it's going to end or how far it's going to go, or there's the unknown of things, and it's really a choice of how we're showing up in that moment. Lately, I've noticed some ways that I had shown up to Jim in the relationship, and then how that behavior, my old version of myself, has shown up outside of myself, so I could see that's how I was before. So I've apologized to Jim some more, and then recognized, why do we stay in places of struggle or stay into those places when they don't feel good? And it's because it's the same thing as before. It's ignoring the emotions and the feelings, rub some dirt on it, go out and play, whatever the situation, and go do something so that you can go do something that distracts you from the way you were feeling at that moment. And it doesn't really address anything. So, but it's like a lot of that stuff I've looked at, and before I used to get so emotional about it. Now I'm just like, I'm sorry, Jim. I couldn't be any different than I was without this knowledge. And that's why it's so very important for everybody to go find who you resonate with, find tools, find, if you're listening to a speaker, or you overhear a conversation and they're talking about a certain speaker, whether it's our recordings or somebody else's recording, go listen to it. And then whoever's face pops into your mind when you're listening to it, share it with them too. It's like it's listening to the messages all the way, because when we're listening all the time, which is what I hear all the time. So I'm quiet now lately, except for right now. I'm quiet, and because there's nothing for me to discuss, I'm just listening. I'm listening to what's not being said. I'm listening to the silence in between the words, because the words don't matter. In a lot of ways, they don't matter on an energetic level when we're going telepathy and any of that kind of stuff. We can't, the words don't matter. They're not going to, my anxiousness might be just a fear for you, your feelings. So it's like it's a whole different dimension when you start going in and feeling how this shows up in your body, and feeling how you feel right now, and feeling how that feels when that happened, and recognizing, seeing the flash, knowing that all of it's part of a process for you to move forward. It's not trying to punish you. It's not trying to make you look at how bad you were. It's for you to look at things and see how you can show up and do better.
Yeah.
What feels better.
Yeah. And you do get to write the story. And we will oftentimes do things because, quote unquote, that's the way it's always been done. That's a comfort zone. We know this is this is how it's been done. This is the guidelines, and we don't default from that. We're going to keep doing this over and over and over and over and over again. Well, at some point, this is what I'm recognizing with different in different ways of my life, different areas, is that starts feeling old or stagnant. And then other people start expecting that too. There's like, oh, okay, well, this is what's happening. And when you don't, one of the things I heard a long time ago was keep 80% the same and change 20%. That way it feels fresh and new. And so I've been taking that into consideration in the different areas of my life. And I'm like, yeah, we can keep 80% the same and then just make a little shift here and there to help it feel fresh and different. That's one of the things I like. I like variety. And when things start getting stale, stagnant, redundant, I'm like, whew, I got to change something, because I'm going to get bored out of my brain, and I am not going to be, it's not going to be pretty. Like when things like I check out, when I get to that point. And really keep 80% of it the same and change 20%. It's just enough variety that I'm interested. I'm like, okay, let's keep doing this. Let's see what happens. So it's still, it could still, you're still staying in a somewhat comfort zone. However, you're also adding a little bit of lightness or a little bit of change that keeps you interested, keeps you going, keeps you curious, because that 20% of change, you need to figure out what that is. What do I want to, what's the 20% I want to change? How am I going to change that? How can I play with that? How can I, what information do I need? So there's still a lot of curiosity there, and maybe some research or just getting some data to help you make that shift. So that's been interesting, and that's one of the things we're implementing with a big event that we plan every month at work. Is keep 80% of it the same and only change about 20%, so the community will feel like it's a little different each time. So I'm like, I'm gonna do that.
Nice. And it's expansion, right? It's expansion. It's, gosh, I get bored. Everything you said is just 100%. I get bored and that's it. Like, I don't even want to do it anymore. It's mundane. It's so it is just taking that time to really reflect for that 20%. What do you really want? What stuff do you want in your experience? And really following that direction. And in the beginning, it's not easy, because I will tell you, I'm doing a little bit more and more of that, but I'm not doing it all the time, because it's the old routine, right? It's the autopilot. Autopilot steps in and it's like, we'll just do the same old stuff. And it's like, I've noticed even recently, even on Mother's Day, was it Mother's Day? Might have been my birthday. I don't remember, but I was outside working on a sitting area, and that's my old patterns, because I'm looking at the stuff that I'm wanting to go do, because I'm in the house and I'm like, no, I think it was my birthday. So I decided to go outside and clear out this area and start hauling sand and, bucket by bucket from the wash up to the sitting area and putting that stuff down. It's not completed at this point. And I'll tell you, I wasn't listening to my body. I got up freaking fried in a couple of areas, you know. And I haven't even looked in the book to see what the sunburn, what that meaning was, but it's definitely gotten there. So irritation for sure, but I was irritated even that day, going into it. Just really, it's probably the same thing. It's really that pushing you to shift out of this space. And so I went and did that, but it wasn't the same behaviors that I would have done before all day long like that, because I would have gone till nighttime. I would have gone till it was done, to be quite honest with you. And it wasn't. But it's like, it was just taking the time to look at it and to go through those feelings. And I wasn't the kid that needed to be seen and heard like I was before when I was doing outside stuff. Look at the job that I'm doing. Look how amazing it is. I'm doing it perfect. And if it wasn't perfect, I would take it out and do it again. And now it's like, I don't care, as long as I'm comfortable with how it is. Art is art. It's like, that's your perspective. That's all that it is. It's like, what are you picking up from it? What are you feeling from it? So it's like, I've noticed a lot of different changes, but I've noticed like the cycles come back around, but it's like, it's not the same. It's not the same. There's different stuff that's going on right now. It's just weird. But so on the other side of all that stuff, I had the stamina to be out there all day long. I was pretty sore that day. I haven't been sore since. So, I mean, it's like my body's healing fast. There's things that are happening differently now, almost as if it was reminding me of how I could handle things before. So it's like looking at both sides, because there is a plus to it, and then there is the sunburn, right? So which means at that time I have to come inside and I have to take extra care for myself. So I'm giving myself attention that probably needed the attention in the first place, but I was putting it outside. I was working and doing, because sometimes that helps me to get those wheels turning, to get that foot going forward, to just do something. And so that's kind of where that's at right now. But it's like, I'm recognizing all this process of Bev. What is Bev doing right now? Why is Bev doing that right now? And so it's just, it's an interesting journey for sure. to process it.
Life is an interesting journey.
It is. It is.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. You could have carried 1,000 buckets of sand and then said, oh, that's too much. I don't need that much. And then you got to move the sand, and it's just it's okay.
Yeah, it's
Right?
okay.
Each experience just gives us this opportunity to really just look at it, look at the, have some self-reflection, um, take note. What would I do different? What do I like? How much of this did I like? Maybe it was just being in the sun and moving the body is what you needed.
And
Wasn't really
grounding.
about the sand.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was the weight of the sand in the bucket for the strength of the body. So there's so many different avenues you could go with that. And just being outside, breath of fresh air,
Yep.
right? So um all of any and all of it's okay. And if it was
Yeah.
too much sand, then okay, now I got to take some out. Or if it's not enough sand, okay, at some point I'll bring some more in. So we just look at it as and gosh, we could go so many directions with this. We could look at perfectionism. We could look at um like you already said, I need the accolades. I need somebody to see me doing this and telling me what a good job I'm doing. um Maybe it's, I don't want to be around people, just leave me alone.
Yeah.
So like there's so many directions we could go with that story. And just listening to the story, how does the story resonate with the listener? How have you felt that way, and recognized how you've been showing up in different experiences, um, needing some of this stuff, or um, just wanting to be alone, really. I'll do things. I just want to be by myself. I don't want to people. Just like I don't even want to talk to my husband. Like I'm just like, and it, not out of a meanness. It's just I need the time for myself to process whatever I'm processing, or just I just need to be quiet. I could still be doing something, but just be quiet. Um, and so for the listener, it's like just observing yourself as you're moving through your experiences and taking note. What are you thinking about? How are you feeling about it? What is it you're expecting from it? What is it you're seeking from it? And just notice. It's just being curious about yourself. And that's one of the things. The more, of course, the more I practice this, the better I get at it. And the more self-awareness I have. And I don't always get it right. I'm not always good at it. I have my moments of temper tantrums, as we talked about in the last episode. Um, but I do keep getting better in myself, which is matters to me. That matters to me. Um, I'm taking a position where I'm going to be front and center of an organization of like 50 women. That's huge. There are going to be things that I would never thought I would ever be doing because I'm taking this position. So I keep comparing myself where I'm at to where I used to be. I can only compare myself to me. And this is, I look in the mirror sometimes, I'm like, who is this person? I don't even know who this person is, because this is so far from the person I used to be that I never thought, well, I must have had the thought it was possible in some way, but really never thought or ever imagined, 30 years ago, that this is the person I would be today. When they say, how do you see yourself in 10 years? I'm like, I'm fucked. That's where I see myself. Like, it's not going to be good. And when I, just even having that thought, I was like, ooh, if I'm thinking that, then something better change. Something has got to change, because I cannot imagine living this way for another 10 or 50 or 100 years. Like, I do not want to be this person that I was at when I'm older. I couldn't even
Yes.
imagine what this physical body would be like right now if I was still in that same mindset and emotional state that I was in. I would probably, I'm 54, going on 55, and I would probably look like I was in my 70s or 80s if I would have stayed mentally and emotionally where I was at. There's no doubt in my mind. And my physical body would have been crumbling. Yeah. I don't even want to try to even imagine fully what that would probably could have been like. I just know that the more I practice on myself and the better I get with myself, the better I feel life is getting. And of course I have those moments where I just had one a couple weeks where I feel like nothing's going right. And what the hell? And I get through it. I don't may not get through it in my best version of me, but I get through it and then I reflect and okay, how could I have done this better? That all of that is just writing a chapter. All of that's being the author of my story. And if I want my story to get better, I got to be the writer. And that's exclamation point. I have to be the one writing the story, not everybody else.
Yeah, I agree. Because I feel like most of my life, someone else has been writing the story. I've allowed someone else to be the author of my story. I've allowed someone else to decide whether I'm worthy or not. I've allowed someone else to make decisions and choices for me because I didn't have my own strength in myself,
Yeah.
my own confidence in myself to make a decision that I felt was a good decision, because when we make bad decisions, then we don't make any decisions later on sometimes.
Yeah.
And so it's just recognizing all those things. And then it's like under all that is you're finding yourself. And it's not like it's a victim story. It's oh God, I know she's in here somewhere underneath all these clothes, all this junk. Exactly. But oh, there she is. So I'm catching glimpses of myself and I refer to as she and Bev and Nikki, and because it's how I'm talking to that part of my ego, because that's part of my story, that's part of my ego, good or bad, sometimes good, sometimes not so great, and that's okay. But like you said, we just don't spend as much time in those spaces like we used to. We can go to those spaces, but we don't live there. And I used to live there for years. And like you said, we don't want to be that way. You don't want to be a curmudgeon in life, and then at your ended days, you're still that same curmudgeon. You're not allowing anyone into your life, and you're being that hateful and angry. Mm-mm. No,
Yeah.
thank you. If that's the way it's got to be, I'll see you guys later on the next trip around the sun because I'm
Right. Peace out, bro.
peace out.
Out. Yep. Yep. I'm right there with you. All right, friends. Be the author of your story. I wanted to add to that just real quick was when you said, other people have been writing the story or I've allowed other people to write the story. I think it's important to mention as well what that looks like is when you're being the people pleaser and the fixer, that especially the people pleaser, you're doing things for other people out of guilt or obligation or the need to feel accepted and loved. So that's kind of what Bev was, I'm going to say, is what you're referring to is when other people are writing your story or filling your calendar, it's because you're allowing them to do that and you're allowing yourself to be in that space of wanting to please everybody else or be a fixer of everybody else's problems, meaning you're all up in their business instead of addressing your own. So keep that in mind when you're writing your story. So with that, thanks for hanging out with us, Tea Time with Amy and Bev. And be resourceful. Share this podcast. Share a book you've read. Share somebody else you've listened to, an influencer that resonates with you, that's helping you be and do better on your journey. And or have the conversations. Be courageous and have the conversations. If you want to be resourceful, you can share our content, which is found on many platforms. So we're on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Spreaker, Podcast Addict, and iHeartRadio. So just share us with your friends and family and coworkers. Any final words?
Make a magical week.
Make it a magical week. That's your
That's
job.
right. That's right. It's your choice.
All right, friends. Thanks for hanging out with us. Tea Time with Amy and Bev. We'll see you next time.
Bye.